there a neurological problem? No? So what are those neurological problem? It could be a weakness, a visual loss, no? A sensory loss, okay? Or it can be problem with different sensation like taste, okay, language, no? And next question that you need to answer, no? So these are the different neurological problem, no? You have focal neurologic deficit, okay? Meaning if there's a focal signs in your CNS, okay, that may involve your brain, your spinal cord, your brain stem, okay, your cerebellum, okay, or any specific region of your neural axis, no? Another is your increased intracranial pressure. So remember that your increased intracranial pressure may manifest with headache and vomiting. Not only that, it can also manifest with lateral rectus palsy. No, patient may complain to you with doubling of vision. Okay, so remember that lateral rectus palsy, this is a false localizing sign that may signify an increased intracranial pressure. So another thing with increased intracranial pressure is a sign of papilledema. So very important in your examination to perform your fundoscopic examination. As you can see, if your patient is of your meninges, it may present of ophthalmoscope nyo is with lateral rectus palsy. No, patient may complain to you with doubling of vision. Okay, so remember that lateral rectus palsy, this is a false localizing sign that may signify an increased intracranial pressure. So another thing with increased intracranial pressure is a sign of papilledema. So very important in your examination to perform your fundoscopic examination. As you can see, if your patient is suffering from an increased intracranial pressure, so yung this na makikita nyo sa ophthalmoscope nyo is indistinct disborder, no? And of course, meningeal irritation, no? So remember that your meninges, these are pain-sensitive structures, no? So in the setting of inflammation of your meninges, it may present with headaches, no? And of course, with different meningeal signs. Okay, so these are the different focal neurologic deficit, mental status, no? So the patient may manifest with disorientation. Of course, part of your examination is asking the orientation to time, place, and person. Of course, your different cranial nerves, no? This has a different slides, no? To examine your cranial nerves. Of course, motor. If you have any weakness, cerebellum. If your patient complain of disequilibrium, ataxia, no? If your patient presented to you with wide base gait, no? And of course, examination of your reflexes, okay? If it's hyporeflexive, hyperreflexive, or normoreflexive. And of course, your sensory deficit, okay? So example of focal neurologic deficit in your higher intellectual function, such as your memory impairment, emotional and behavioral changes, and also your language disturbances. Seizure is always a sign of a cortical dysfunction, no? You will localize seizure always in the supratentorial area. especially in the cortex. Okay, so these are the cranial nerve deficit that patient may complain to you, like your diplopia, dysphagia, no, dysarthria, facial weakness, sensory impairment. So if your patient complain to you with different cranial nerves, of course, you will uh levelize your lesion in the infratentorial area where you can locate your brainstem, no? Doon kasi doon nakalagay yung different brainstem. Of course, your brainstem has 3 different parts, no? So important for you to know the different cranial nerves located in each part of the brainstem. For example, your midbrain, andun yung cranial nerve 3 and 4. Okay? In your pons, andun yung inyong 5, 6, 7, 8. And the lower 4 nerves is located in your medulla. Okay? Yan. Others like your weakness or paralysis, no? In coordination or poor equilibrium. Okay? Pathological reflexes like your Babinski, sensory impairment, and extremities. Okay? So ito yung sinasabi ko kanina. Your increased intracranial pressure may manifest with papilledema. As you can see here, the DS is indistinct. Dapat bilog na bilog yan. Diplopia, no? Since remember that your cranial nerve 6 has a long intracranial course, and anywhere along its course, it may cause compression in the presence of increased intracranial pressure. Okay? Deterioration in the level of sensorium. No? Tutulog-tulog yung pasyente. Your patient may be obtunded, drowsy. Okay? And of course, in infants, no, in the setting of an increased intracranial pressure, so they can have bulging fontanelles. This is because the sutures are not yet closed in infants. No? Kaya lumalaki pa yung kanilang skull. Okay? Oh, so these are the different meningeal irritation, no? So of course your patient is will complain to you with headache and of course vomiting. Okay? Of course, nuchal rigidity, this is a passive resistance against passive flexion, no? When you see a Brudzinski, no, letter B, so you will flex the neck, buttock, no? And it will cause pain, no? Okay? And of course, your Kernigs, no, your hips, no, are flexed, no, and your knees are flexed, then you will extend it, no. It will cause pain in your back, no. The positive reason for this one is because you will irritate the meninges, no. Bakit kasama yung back? Of course, your spinal cord is also covered with your meninges. So, yan, no? Where is the neurological problem? Okay? So you need to levelize. Okay? So when you say levelize, is the problem an upper motor or a lower motor? So to be more specific, upper motor neuron lesion, no? Includes your lesion in your supratentorial area, in your cerebral cortex, brainstem, cerebellum. Whereas your lower motor neuron lesion, no, will start at the anterior horn cell to your peripheral nerve down to your muscle. Again, I just want to add a lesion in your spinal cord will also present with an upper motor neuron lesion. Okay? And of course, no, you have to lateralize. Is it a right or left, midline, or bilateral? Okay? So, for example, your patient complained to you with a right-sided weakness. So, of course, if you review your anatomy, your corticospinal tract, no, originates from your left, no? So, yung motor cortex natin controls the right side of the body. So we think that this is an upper motor neuron lesion on the left. And para siyang x-axis and y-axis, and that is where you localize the lesion. Okay? I'll give you sample question next week, no, in order for us to how to identify the different neurological problem. Okay? For example naman ng midline, no? For example, your patient complain of bilateral hemianopia, no? So, what are the midline structures? Diba? Yung mga cerebellar vermis, yung pituitary gland, no? So, those characteristic symptoms, no, will give you a clue that you are dealing with a midline lesion. Okay? Pag bilateral naman, it involves both right and left, no? Siyempre, depende pa rin sa examination ninyo. Okay. So what is the neurological problem, no? So what is the neurological problem? It talks about the different etiology. Okay? So it could be a focal, no? For example, a focal are tumors, no, in the form of neoplasm, abscess, no? It can be also a stroke, no? Ang pinakamadali talaga stroke. If you want to learn neurology, you have to learn it stroke by stroke, no? Multifocal, if you have a multiple tumors, abscess, no? Of course, multiple sclerosis, diffuse, no? In the setting of encephalopathy, toxic metabolic, peripheral polyneuropathy, and muscular dystrophy. So these are the different etiology, okay? It could be congenital or developmental. It could be due to trauma, infection, metabolic, no? Example of your degenerative, for example, Alzheimer's disease, vascular stroke, no? Nutritional, for example, alcohol intoxication, okay? Demyelinating or immunologic, no? Like your multiple sclerosis. So, syempre, depende pa rin sa history of your patient, okay? Sa history ng patient ninyo. So, clinical and history assessment, very important ang age of onset, no? Because age of onset will tell you, okay, what condition we are dealing with, no? For example, bata yung pumunta sa inyo, 18 years old, complain of weakness. Syempre, hindi naman kayo magko-consider na stroke sa 18 years old, no? And of course, the onset and course, no? So yung onset of course, no? So for example, okay, for example, of a 30-year-old complaint of memory loss of an acute onset, you will not consider Alzheimer's disease, no? So you will investigate what may cause this memory loss in a 30 years old, o baka na-expose sa chemical, no? And of course, other medical data, family history, and social history, no? Very important yung mga temporal profile of each condition. So your x-axis represents the duration of the illness, and the y-axis represents the number of neurological problem. Okay? So in vascular, so usually it occurs within minutes, no? Very abrupt, okay? And of course, it will present with a lot of neurological problem, no? For infection, it may take around days to weeks before, no? Before it manifests with different neurological problem. As you can see here, mass lesion, very long ang history niya, no? Very long, okay? Because mass are growing lesion. So, besides, it will start with headache, tapos it will start with focal neurologic deficit, no? And of course, degenerative condition, no? Medyo matagal din yung kanyang onset. It may take up until years, no? Okay? So, these are the course of your neurodegenerative disorder will always manifest in a chronic manner. Remember that. Okay? So, how important are the history in PE? Because it will delimits our differential diagnosis. Okay? And it will it will guide us on how or what appropriate diagnostic procedure. Hindi lahat ng headaches pinapa-CT scan or MRI. Hindi po ganun ang approach ng neurology. We will still base on history and physical examination. Okay? And of course, it will help in evaluation of improvement or deterioration in a patient disease course. Okay? So parts of neurological examination. So ito yung sunod-sunod, no? You start with the mental status, followed by your cranial nerves, motor system, cerebellar test, reflexes, sensory system, meningeal irritation, and other tests. Okay? So of course, let's start with cerebral function. Okay? So remember that your cerebral cortex consists of different lobes, no? You have the frontal lobe, no? And you have the motor cortex. Iba po ang motor cortex sa frontal lobe. So your frontal lobe is, the function of this one is for executive function, no? Thinking and planning and organizing, problem solving, as well as control of your emotion. So what do you mean by executive function? So if you ask the patient to perform a task, alam niya yung sunod-sunod na gagawin, no? If you have a patient having difficulty in performing a previously learned task, so baka may problem siya with the frontal lobe. So motor cortex, this is where your corticospinal tract originates, no? And of course, your spinothalamic tract, no, will terminate in your sensory cortex, no? Remember, the lesion here will present with contralateral manifestation, no? For example, this is your left motor cortex. The problem will be on your right extremities, okay? So parietal lobe, this is for perception, making sense of the word arithmetic, okay? And of course, your occipital lobe. Your occipital lobe is for your vision, okay? And your temporal lobe is for your memory, understanding, and sensory component of your language. Um, Again, no, in order your Glasgow Coma Scale, remember that your GCS is designed for trauma, but it is used, no, it is commonly used in all condition na rin, no? So remember the acronym EVM, no? E, eyes, V, verbal output, and M for motor response, no? EVM 4, 5, 6. Kasi ang best score dito is 4, sa verbal is 5, sa motor is 6. Okay? So, yan, no? The high score is 4. The patient eyes, no? Opens eyes spontaneously. Kapag if the patient is drowsy and open eyes through command, no? Or through name calling, E3. Or if the patient open eyes through painful stimulation, the score is 2. And no eye opening at all, even with vigorous stimulation, the score is 1. Okay? And for verbal output, 5, no? 5 is oriented, 4 disoriented, 3 inappropriate words. For example, saan po kayo nakatira? Ay, kumain na po ako ng sinigang. So, hindi siya tama. Okay? So, score of 2 for incomprehensible sound. Okay? For example, hindi, yung mga yung mga gibberish words, no? Walang mga meaning. Okay? And no verbal output at all, yung mga patient with global aphasia, score of 1. Okay? Motor response, no? 6. Best response is 6. Obeys spontaneous movement. Pag pinataas mo yung kamay nila, tataas nila. Okay? So if the patient, if you put pain, no? Kapag nag-sternal rub kayo, okay? And if the patient attempts to localize the pain, the score is 5. If the patient withdraws the pain, 4. And if the patient decorticate, no? When you say decorticate, this is an abnormal posturing in which the person is stiff with bent arm and clenched fist and legs held out straight the arms, no? So, and a score of 2, okay? Decerebrate naman ito, naka-extension tone naman siya. Okay? So the body posture, no, the arms and legs are held straight out and the toes are being pointed downward. Okay? And if no motor response, score of 1. Syempre, if your patient can obey command, hindi nyo na kailangan mag-produce ng ng pain, ha? Hindi nyo na kailangan induce ng pain para malaman kung 5 ba siya o 4. Kung 6, okay na yung 6. Okay? So, orientation, time, place, and person, no? So, anong oras na? Anong araw na? Okay? Place, asan po kayo ngayon? Person, no? Sino yung kasama niya? Or kung wala siyang kasama, pwede niyo itanong yung mga common knowledge like sinong president ngayon. Okay? So, ganun yung mga pwede niyo itanong. So, memory, no? So, memory can be divided into your immediate memory, recent, and remote memory. Okay? So, remember, in neurological patient, impaired immediate recall is usually due to attentional deficit rather than pure amnesia. So, immediate memory, you can ask the patient to uh, memorize a number, no? Then you ask the patient to repeat it right after you ask them to memorize it. Yung recent memory, you can ask the previous meal, no? Yung previous meal niya, no? And of course, yung remote memory naman, no? Yung remote memory, these are the events, no? Birthday, Independence Day, okay? So recent memory, no? Basically test the ability to learn new concept, while remote memory, so this is a memory test of previously learned knowledge, no? So other in higher cerebral function. So remember that the mood is an individual's emotional state, while affect, no, is the expression of such emotion. Okay, so therefore your mood is an affective state. No, so behavior, you can assess the behavior by just interviewing your patient, or if your patient has any psychotic uh, symptoms, no? Like delusions, hallucinations, illusions, okay? Abstract thinking, okay? So this is the ability to think about objects, principles, and idea that are not physically present, okay? So judgment, you will give, for example, you will give a certain situation and how the patient will react on to that situation. For example, kung nasusunog yung bahay niyo, anong gagawin niyo? Okay? O sabihin ng pasyente niyo, maliligo siya, no? Mali yun, no? And of course, the insight to illness. Okay? So, cortical function, no? So, remember that your language, okay, has 5 different components. You have the fluency, comprehension, reading, writing, no? Naming object, no? And you have also the cortical motor or your praxis, no? These are motor disorder caused by damage, no? Especially in your parietal cortex, in which the individual has difficulty with the motor planning to perform tasks or movement when being asked. Okay? Provided that the request or commands is understood and the individual is willing to perform that task without any without any presence of motor weakness. Okay? And your cortical sensory, your gnosis, this is the inability to process sensory information. Often there's associate loss of ability to recognize object, person, sound, and shape. And of course, pedaling could be smell, while specific sense is not defective, nor is there any significant memory loss. Okay? So sometimes there's involvement of your bilateral frontal area. So this may present with bilateral hemiplegia and spastic bulbar or pseudobulbar palsy. So if you have involvement in your prefrontal, your patient may have abulia or akinetic mutism. So hindi sila nagkasalita at hindi sila na gumagalaw. Okay? So this is because of lack of ability to sustain attention and solve complex problem. There's also a rigidity of thinking, bland affect, social ineptitude, behavioral disinhibition, inability to anticipate labile mood. Okay? And of course, part of your bifrontal lobe disease is decomposition of gait kasi you have a bilateral hemiplegia and sphincteric incontinence. Okay? When you say abulia, this is a lack of desire to carry out an action. Okay? loss or impairment of ability to perform voluntary action or to make decision. This typical kind of patient will have a reduce in speech, no, movement of thought, movements, thought, and emotional reaction. So parang dead ma lang sila, no? So this is a common result of a bilateral frontal lobe disease. Okay? So your akinetic mutism, this is synonymous with coma vigil. So this is a state where a person is unable to speak or move. Okay? So this is a persistent state of altered consciousness in which the patient appears awake, no, with normal sleep-wake cycle but not responsive, no? So because andun yung mga inyong executive function sa frontal area, okay? So this is although the descending motor pathways appears intact, okay? Okay? This is often due to a damage to the frontal lobe of your brain. Okay? Language, no? So this is the concept of your cerebral dominance, no? Your your dominant hemisphere, 85% most of the time, no, is your left hemisphere. Pag sabing dominant hemisphere, nandun that hemisphere is uh where your language center, no, is located, no? So most of us are right-handed, no? So remember pag right-handed most of the time, okay? The dominant hemisphere is on the left. Okay? So these are the component of your language, no? Fluency, this is the ability to spontaneously talk with a normal rate and flow of speech, no? And the production is normal. Okay? Usually, if your patient have a problem with fluency, the patient may have speaking with effort, finding words with difficulty, losing normal grammar and syntax, making perseveration or perseverative responses, and making spontaneous paraphrasic errors. These are characteristic of problem with your fluency. Okay? So repetition, this is the ability to repeat, no, spoken words, no. So intact repetition in the presence of serious deficit in fluency or comprehension is diagnostic of transcortical aphasia, which implies a good prognosis for recovery. Okay? Another component of your language is comprehension. So this is the ability to understand spoken or written language, no? If the patient is attentive and ability to follow one or two step command, so this implies your patient have an intact auditory comprehension. So if the patient is fluent, he may have a nonsensical speech with impaired comprehension. So remember that your language areas, you have the Broca's area located in your inferior frontal, no? And this is your Wernicke's areas located in your superior frontal. What connects your Broca's area to your Wernicke's area is this white matter band called your arcuate fasciculus. Okay? So if you have a lesion with your arcuate fasciculus, you will have an impaired repetition or what you call your conductive aphasia. Okay? So again, aphasia, okay? This is a partial or total loss of the ability to articulate ideas or comprehend spoken or written language. So a patient may have difficulty producing language. Patient may have difficulty understanding language, reading or writing. Okay? So impairment of language affecting the production or comprehension of speech and the ability to read or write. Okay? When you say global aphasia, okay, this is the most severe form of aphasia where your patient cannot speak fluently and cannot comprehend. So meaning you involve both your Broca's and your Wernicke's area. So these are the different type of your aphasia: motor, sensory, and your global. When you say motor, the involvement here is your Broca's area. So the problem here is the motor component of your speech. Hindi ka fluent. That's why it is what you call Another term for this one is your non-fluent aphasia or your motor aphasia, okay? So the speech is intelligible but non-fluent, no? Small parts of speech, no, reduced or absent. So you have an impaired fluency, naming, repetition, and writing, but intact verbal and written comprehension. Nakakaintindi sila. Okay? So speech output is severely reduced, no? And this is limited mainly to short utterance of less than 4 words. Okay? So the problem here is in your inferior frontal lobe or your Broca's area or your area 44. Next type is your Wernicke's aphasia or your sensory aphasia or your fluent aphasia. Okay, so the lesion here is in your superior temporal, posterior temporal, posterior parietal. So the patient may have a nonsensical fluent speech, ability to grasp the meaning of the spoken words, no? So impaired ang kanilang repetition, verbal and written comprehension, but fluent yung kanilang speech kasi intact yung Broca's area nila. But walang meaning, no? So usually walang meaning, walang sense yung sinasabi nila. Okay? So the form of speech and writing are relatively preserved, the content and meaning are impaired. Ito naman, no? Global aphasia. Okay? Large lesion involving your both Broca's and your Wernicke's area. Again, if apraxia, no, if you have apraxia, this is an impairment of execution of previously learned movement, no, not explained by deficit in comprehension, strength, sensation, or coordination. So, if you have limb kinetic apraxia, so poor dexterity, idiomotor apraxia, cannot make complex movement, sorry, or by imitation or on command. When you say ideational apraxia, cannot produce complex learned goal-directed activities in a proper logical sequence. Sorry. Ano example na ideational apraxia, no? You can ask the patient to make a sandwich, no? O dapat tamang-tama yung kanilang steps. Baka una tissue muna, pinalaman yung tissue. Okay? Okay? So again, your apraxia, this is a loss of ability to perform activities that a person is physically able and willing to do. Okay? So inability to execute learned, purposeful movements despite having desire and physical capacity to perform movements. Okay? So yan, idiomotor apraxia involves faulty execution of acquired voluntary complex sequential no? So you can ask a lot of tasks, for example, in your face, ask the patient to stick out open eyes, no? How to blow a candle, okay? Lick lips, no? Sa arms naman, you ask the patient to throw a ball, cut a paper, brush teeth. Sa legs naman, kick a ball, no? Stamp out a cigarette and climb a stairs. So the patient may perform the movement in incorrect sequence, no? Or may carry out a movement of a wrong type. Okay? When you say ideational apraxia, no? This is an impairment of ability to carry out complex, learned, and goal-directed activities in a proper logical sequence. Okay? So examination, no? The patient is asked to carry out pantomimic gesture like making a sandwich or preparing a cup of tea. Okay? Agnosia, no? Again, this is the inability to recognize familiar objects or features, no? Despite normal vision, no? Hearing or touch. Ito more on problem with the association areas, no? 'Di ba? We have different, 'di ba? We have primary visual, primary sensory, primary auditory, but we have also secondary association areas, no? So the problem here, yung kanilang mga secondary areas, yung mga pag-processing, no? Pag-processing or pag-identify nung na-perceive by the primary areas. Okay? So when you say apperceptive, so this cannot name object in drawing, cannot copy it or match it to a similar one. When you say associative, cannot name object in drawing and cannot copy it and match it. Okay? So we have different type of agnosia depending on the senses. Color agnosia. So the patient is unable to discriminate colors or name colors. So auditory agnosia, inability to discriminate sounds. Okay? Finger agnosia. So you ask the patient to. So anyway, next week demonstrate ko ito, no? You ask the patient to identify if it's the ring finger, the index finger, the thumb, okay? Then you tactile agnosia, inability to recognize familiar object. So you ask the patient to close eyes, may papahawak kayo sa kanya, yung mga familiar objects lang, no? Mga keys, coins, no? Visual agnosia, inability to recognize familiar objects by sight, usually due to a lesion in one of the visual association areas, no? This is what you call your object blindness or psychic blindness. Nakikita nila pero hindi nila ma-identify through the aid of vision. Okay? Visual spatial agnosia, lack of ability to analyze and orient using visual representation and their spatial, no, relationships, no? So how about comatose patient? No, you cannot examine those higher cortical function in patient with comatose, no? Mas madali mag-examine in patient with comatose, no? Can only take you 5 minutes or less. In comatose patient, the bulk of your examination will focus on the different reflexes that is left kung ano yung naiwan sa patient, no? What is intact to your patient. For example, yung mga corneal reflex, yung mga Dall's eye, no? Yung mga caloric reflex, yung mga pupillary light reflex, no? You can examine that in patient with you can assess that in patient with you can assess that in comatose patient, no? Hindi mo siya mapapag-make ng sandwich, okay? Hindi mo siya mapag-identify ng mga tactile agnosia, no? So before testing the cerebral cortical function, no? Yung mga higher cortical function, yung language, praxis, and gnosis, the GCS of your patient should be 15, no? Dapat intact ang kanilang GCS. Okay? So I think I should cut in this part of your lecture. I will continue my lecture next week, no? Mas maganda with demonstration. So para idadamay ko na yung demo, no? So if you have any question, no, you can ask regarding how to assess higher cognitive higher cortical function. You can ask me, no, in Telegram, okay? So you may
Morning po, ako po si Dr. Isabeliano. Nandito po ako ngayon para i-examine po kayo. So yung first part po ay ang pag-examine po sa inyong cranial nerves. So, ang una po ay ang cranial nerve 1 kung saan itatest ko po ang inyong pangamoy. So gamit po ang inyong daliri, so pipindutin nyo po ang kanan o kaliwang parte ng iyong ilong at may ipapaamoy po ako sa inyo. So pag may naamoy po kayo, i-raise nyo po yung hand niyo at sabihin nyo po kung ano ito. So ngayon po, sarado nyo po ang inyong mga mata. So i-close na po yung kaliwang ilong ninyo. May maamoy po kayo?
Wala po.
So ano po ito?
Kape po.
So ngayon po, sa kabilang ilong naman po, may maamoy po kayo.
Wala po.
Ano po ito?
Kape po.
Okay na po. Po, i-check po natin ang cranial nerve number 2 ninyo kung saan itetest po natin yung paningin ninyo or vision gamit itong chart. So, itetest po natin individually yung left tsaka right eye ninyo. So, gamit po ang iyong kamay, i-cover nyo po yung right eye nyo, then babasahin nyo po yung pinakamalaking numero po dito sa chart hanggang sa pinakamaliit po. Ganon din po yung gagawin sa kanang mata.
5, 6, 9, 4, 7, 8, 2, 3, 4, 3, 6, 8, 5, 7, 8, 3, 4, 8, 2, 4, 5, 6, 3, 2, 5, 8, 3, 7, 4.
So, ngayon po, takpan po ninyo at basahin po yung mga numero.
5, 6, 9, 4, 7, 8, 2, 3, 4, 3, 6, 8, 5, 7, 8, 4, 9, 3, 6, 5, 2, 8, 2, 4, 5, 8, 3, 2, 5, 8, 3, 7, 4, 7, 3, 8.
So ngayon po, itetest ko po yung visual confrontation test. So tingin lang po kayo sa ilong ko. Itataas ko po yung dalawang daliri ko, then ituturo nyo po kung saan yung daliring gumagalaw. So ngayon po, i-examine po natin individually yung right tsaka left eye ninyo. Parehas lang din po, ituturo nyo din po kung saang daliri yung gumagalaw. So first po is i-cover nyo po yung left eye ninyo. So ngayon po, takpan nyo po yung right eye po ninyo. So ngayon po, i-check ko po yung optic nerve ninyo. So gamit po ang ophthalmoscope, sisilipin ko po ang loob ng inyong mata. So tingin lang po kayo ng diretso. So medyo nakakasilaw lang po. So sa ngayon po, i-check ko po yung kaliwang mata ninyo, tingin lang po ng diretso. Sa ngayon po, i-check ko po yung pupils ninyo. So titingin lang po kayo ng diretso. Sa ngayon po, i-check po natin ang muscles ng inyong mga mata. So, itetest ko pa din po individually yung right at saka left eye nyo. So, mag-uumpisa po tayo sa kaliwang mata. So, i-cover nyo po yung right eye po ninyo. So, ngayon po, titingnan nyo yung daliri ko at susundan nyo po yung paggalaw nito. Ayan po, takpan nyo na po yung kaliwang mata ninyo. Sundan nyo pa din po yung daliri ko po. So ngayon po, tingin lang po kayo sa gitna, then sundan po yung daliri ko po. So ngayon po, itatest po natin ang cranial nerve number 5 ninyo or ang sensation po sa buong muka. So isasarado nyo po yung dalawang mata ninyo, then sasabihin nyo po kung may nararamdaman po kayo. So pikit po.
Meron po. Meron po.
Pantay po ba?
Pantay po. Meron po. Meron
Pantay
po.
po ba?
Pantay po. Meron po. Meron
Pantay po ba?
Pantay po.
Sa ngayon po, mailalapat po ako sa inyong muka at sasabihin nyo po kung may nararamdaman po kayo. Pikit pa rin po yung dalawang mata.
Meron po. Meron po.
Pantay po ba?
Pantay po. Meron po. Meron po.
Pantay po ba?
Pantay po. Meron po. Meron po.
Pantay po ba?
Pantay po.
Ngayon po, i-check ko po yung corneal reflex ninyo. So, tingin po kayo sa kanan. Tingin po sa kaliwa. Tingin po sa kaliwa. Ngayon po, i-check po natin ang masseter and temporalis muscle po ninyo. Kagat po. Isa pa po. So, para sa cranial nerve number 7, pikit po ang iyong mga mata. Labanan niyo po. Ngayon, dilat po. Itaas po yung kilay. Kunot po yung noo. Smile po o ngiti po. Try niyo po ilobo ang iyong mga pisngi. Okay na. Ngayon po, itetest po natin ang cranial nerve number 8 po or ang pandinig po ninyo. So, ipipikit nyo po ang dalawang mata ninyo, tapos itataas nyo po yung kamay ninyo sa kaliwa o sa kanan kung saan po kayo may madinig. Sige, pikit po yung dalawang mata. Ito po ay isang tuning fork. So, ilalagay ko po ito or ilalapat po sa taas ng inyong ulo. Tapos, may marinig po kayong ugong o vibration. So, sasabihin nyo po kung pantay po ang pandinig o mas malakas po sa isang parte ng tenga.
Pantay po.
So, gamit pa din po ang tuning fork, ilalagay ko po ito sa likod ng inyong tenga. Makakarinig po kayo ng ugong pa rin or vibrations. Itataas nyo po ang inyong kamay pag wala na po kayong narinig. Ngayon po, itetest po natin ang cranial nerve number 9 and number 10. So, uulitin nyo po kung ano yung sasabihin ko po. Ka-ka-ka.
Ka-ka-ka.
So, itetest po natin ngayon ang inyong gag reflex. So, medyo hindi po komportable ang test na ito. So, ibubukas nyo po ang inyong bibig at magsasabi po kayo ng A. Sige po. Ngayon po, itetest po natin ang cranial nerve number 11. So, ilalapat ko po ang aking kamay sa inyong pisngi at ilalaban nyo po ito. Sa kabila po. Ngayon po, ilalapat ko po ang aking kamay sa inyong balikat at itaas nyo po ito o ilalaban po. Ngayon po, i-check ko po ang cranial nerve number 12. So, bukas po ang bibig. At ilabas niyo po ang dila po ninyo. So, ngayon po, maipapainom po ako sa inyo at lulunok po kayo.
Ngayon naman po, gagawin po natin ang manual muscle testing. So, itetest po natin ngayon ang strength po ng muscles ninyo. So, gagawin nyo lang po, yuyuko po kayo at ilalaban nyo po. Ilalagay ko ang kamay ko sa noo ninyo at lalagyan nyo lang po ng puwersa pababa. Tapos pagkatapos naman po nun, titingala naman po kayo. Okay po? Sige po, gawin na natin. Okay. Okay. Naman po, itataas nyo na po ang inyong mga kamay kagaya nito at lalagyan ko po ng puwersa pababa. Huwag nyo pong hayaang ibaba ko ang inyong kamay. Pagkatapos naman po nun, lalagyan ko ng puwersa pataas at huwag nyo pong hayaan na itaas ko ang inyong mga kamay. Okay po? Sige, simulan na po tayo. Taas po. Sige. Okay. Okay. Ganun din po, lalagyan ko ng puwersa pababa at huwag nyo pong hayaang ibaba ko ang inyong mga kamay at pataas, huwag nyo pong hayaang itaas ko ang inyong mga kamay. Ngayon naman po, itetest natin ang strength ng inyong wrist. So, itataas nyo lang po ang inyong kamao. Tapos, gagawin nyo lang po ito. At lalabanan nyo lang po yung ibibigay kong puwersa. Okay po? At mamaya naman po, ibababa nyo lang inyong kamao. At lalabanan din ninyo ang ibibigay kong puwersa. Okay po? Sige. Okay. Naman po, itetest po natin ang strength ng inyong mga daliri. So, ang gagawin po natin, tataas nyo na po ang inyong kamay ng ganito at lalabanan nyo po yung puwersang ibibigay ko. So, unang puwersang ibibigay ko ay yung palabas. Tapos, yung paloob naman po, iipitin nyo lang yung mga daliri ko at pataas tsaka pababa po ang gagawin ko. Sige po. Ipit po ng kadaliri. Okay, taas po ang daliri. Okay, baba po. Okay. Ngayon naman po, ang itetest po natin ang strength ng inyong lower extremities. So, ang gagawin po natin, itataas nyo lang po ang isang hita ninyo at lalagyan ko po ito ng puwersa. Huwag nyo pong hahayaang ibaba ko ito. At ang susunod naman po, lalagyan ko ng puwersa pataas. Huwag nyo pong hahayaang itaas ko po ang inyong hita. Okay po? Sige po, ito po muna yung unahin natin. Sige po. Okay. Okay. Ito naman po. Ito naman po, lalagyan ko po ng puwersa papasok ang inyong mga hita at ang susunod naman po ay iipitin nyo po ang aking mga kamao. Okay po? Sige po. Okay. Yun naman po ay itetest natin ang strength ng inyong knee. Lalagyan ko po ng puwersa pababa ang inyong pinte at huwag nyo po hayaang ibaba ko ito. At pagkatapos naman po, lalagyan ko ng puwersa pataas, huwag nyo po hayaang itaas ko ang inyong mga pinte. Okay po? Ito naman po. Okay. Ito po ay itetest natin ang strength ng inyong mga paa. Ilalagyan ko po ng puwersa pababa at huwag niyo pong hayaang ibaba ko ito. At lalagyan ko naman po ng puwersa pataas. Huwag niyo pong hayaang itaas ko ang inyong mga paa. Okay po. Ngayon naman po ay itetest natin ang inyong pandama. Gagamit po ako ng cotton, isasarado niyo po ang inyong mga mata, at itataas niyo po ang inyong mga kamay kapag meron po kayong naramdaman. Okay po? Sige po, sarado na po natin ang mga mata. Pantay po ba?
Pantay po.
Pantay po ba?
Pantay po.
Pantay po ba?
Pantay po.
Ngayon naman po, may ipaparamdam ulit ako sa inyo. Itaas niyo lang po ang inyong kamay pag may naramdaman at sabihin sa akin po ano yung naramdaman niyo. Okay po? Sige po, sarado na po ulit ang mata. Ano po ang inyong naramdaman?
Tusok po.
Ano po ang inyong naramdaman?
Tusok.
Pantay po ba?
Opo.
Ano po ang inyong naramdaman?
Tusok po.
Ano po ang inyong naramdaman?
Tusok din po.
Pantay po ba?
Opo.
Okay po. Ngayon naman po ay test natin ang inyong pandama sa temperature. Ito po ay example ng isang malamig na bagay. Okay po. Pag naramdaman niyo po ito, itataas niyo lang po ulit ang inyong mga kamay. po. Ngayon naman po ay test po natin ang inyong proprioception. Gamit ang inyong mga daliri, sasabihin nyo lang po sa akin kung nakataas ito or nakababa. Okay po? Sige po. Pikit.
Taas. Baba.
Ngayon naman po ay test po natin ang inyong padama sa vibration. May ilalapat po ako sa inyong mga daliri at sasabihin nyo lang po kung ano yung nararamdaman ninyo.
Meron po. Meron din po.
Pantay po ba?
Opo.
Ngayon naman po ay test ko ang inyong reflexes. Huwag nyo na lang pong ilaban at isandal lang sa kamay ko. Po. Ngayon naman po ay test po natin ang inyong cerebellar function. Gamit ang inyong mga mata, susundan niyo po ang aking mga daliri. Okay po? Ngayon naman po ay ilalagay ninyo ang inyong daliri sa inyong ilong at ilalagay ninyo ito sa aking daliri at ibabalik ninyo ito sa inyong ilong at susundan ninyo ang aking daliri. Gawin po natin. Sige po. Paulit-ulit lang po ha. Okay. Naman po, gagayahin niyo po ang aking gagawin. Kayo naman po. Okay. Kayo naman po ay ilalagay ninyo ang inyong kanang heel sa inyong kaliwang tuhod at isa-slide po ninyo ito pababa papunta sa inyong mga paa. Okay po? Ngayon naman po, paglalakad lang po tayo ng parang naglalakad sa alambre. Gayahin nyo lang po ako. Kaya naman po. Ngayon naman po ay test po natin ang inyong meningeal irritation. Papahigain ko lang po kayo at gagawin ko lang po ang mga test.